Hi there. So today we'll fix it being this dark because god damn it's dark. And luckily I'm bioluminescent right now because I'm wearing this wallet that we set up a few videos ago. But it would be great if you could also see something, you know? So first things first, let's just turn on the lights here. Over there's a little light switch, and if I click it with my laser, nice, we have a light. Now, the way that this works is if we go up here, we have a simple point light, or actually three of them, because each of these lamp shades here hides one of these lights. So if you want to match the color that we already have here, I already have opened the point light, and we have a color of red 1, green 79, and blue 55 for a little bit of a orangey, warm kind of color. So what I'm going to quickly do is I'll just get out a tool, because we're going to be needing that. And on the tool, we'll just go and select from common tools the light tool. Now, you can also just use the regular light tool from the Resonite Essentials, but I'm going to be using the multi-tool because it's a little bit nicer for myself. So then I'll go to change color and just open up this one's color as well. Go to hex, grab the hex color and drop it onto the other hex color like this. And we save and we save. And now this is the same color as is inside of these. And if I clip into here, if I go over into no clip first, and then clip into here, I can show you this bulb, and inside of it, there's another bulb, which is a little point light like this one. So what we'll actually do is we'll go over into this room here, where we have a single point lights needed up there. So we'll just literally go here, move it so that it's like a little bit clipping into the ceiling, and then pull down on it. Fly down, fly down. Look at how the room looks while we move it. Move it lower, move our hand lower while still holding with the light tool. And yeah, that looks good. That looks good. However, one problem. We just set it up to have any no shadows. This means if we go upstairs, this room is also now being illuminated by it. And that is not ideal. So if we undo this point light and then change our shadows to hard shadows, because they're a little bit more performant than soft shadows, again, put it in here and then pull down. Oh, like this. There we go. Now we have this nicely illuminated, but without it actually bleeding out, except for like under the door, it's bleeding through a little bit. And I think that's a good touch because that means that we actually have a little bit of light leakage from the other room, but not in, it just tells us that there's a light on here, but not enough to be annoying. So next we'll swap to our dev tool. And if we look around the room, you'll notice that there's one button right here. We'll simply select it with the dev tool and open up an inspector. Next, we'll want to change this from using a mesh collider because, well, this is a pretty low quality, well, not low quality, low polygon model. We still want to be more performant, so we'll change it into a box collider. We'll just calculate a box around it like this. Ceiling's having a bit of a field day moving me around randomly, but hey, I'll deal with it for now and swap the virtual desktop later. Now, once we have this box collider, we simply want to attach another component, which is a transform interaction touch toggle. And here we have a state, which we can then turn off and on, and once we press it with our laser, or physically, if we walk all the way up there, which I'm not going to do right now, it toggles the state here. Then I'm going to make a little slot here, call this Light Manager. and attach a component of type relations value multi-driver. Now, the reason I'm doing this, despite us only having one light, is so that if we were to duplicate this setup, we would actually be able to just click add and add more lights if we have more than one light, but we're just setting up one light. There's not much difference between setting up one or multiple lights. So now we simply go and grab the state, go to White Manager, and we drop it onto the values here, and then click Drive. Now, as you might have noticed, outside in this room here, we actually have 1, 2 over here. Now, the way we can handle that, having multiple of these, is if we were to select this one, and let's assume it's for this room actually, instead of being for the room outside, and we open this up and also set it up the exact same way as we set up the other one, with transform, interaction, and then a touch toggle, we can actually use something different instead of a value copy. So if instead of using a value copy, Steam Link is being very, very temperamental right now. It's not updating the values correctly of my sticks. Then we go to transform, drivers, and we want a multi-bool condition driver. And then add 2 conditions. The first condition is going to be the state of the first button, and the second condition is going to be the state of the second button. And we want to make it so that if any of them are enabled, then these lights are going to be on. So now we grab the value and we just put it into the target on the multi-bool condition driver. And we just go up here and select the point light. Go up into the point light here, and here we have the light, grab the enabled state of the light, and we put it into the drives. So now, if I click the button over here, we can turn it on and off. Or if we go outside and click this button here, we can also enable the light, as you can see by the leakage here, and if we go inside, you can also see it. Now, if we click this again, nothing happens because it's already on. However, if this one is already on and we click this button, it won't turn off. Unless we turn this one off again too. Now, for more complex button setups, you could either use more multi-bool condition drivers, because you have any, none, all, and that's it. Or you could actually use U-ProtoFlux and make a setup with operators, Boolean. So we could set up, for example, a NOR gate where both of them are disabled. It would turn on the light. If one of them is enabled, it would turn off the light. If both of them are enabled, it would also turn off the light. This would mean that if we, for example, set both of them to false, so if both of them are set to false, it would be enabled, so we have light. And then if we touch any of the other buttons, until both buttons are set to off, it will until both buttons are set to on, it will not be off again. And the way that we can make it be based off of that is we can just invert these values here, so that instead of being on, it's off. Another thing we could do is we could use exclusive OR, or XOR. And if we use this one, if both of them are off, it's off. If one of them is on, it's on. If both of them are on, it's off. And this would basically have a similar effect to this one here, just that instead of being based on whether or not both of them are on, this will be based on whether only one of them is on. So for example, every time it's off, you just have to change one of the buttons to turn it back on, because you just have to have them not be the same position. This is probably the most useful one for this kind of setup, where you have 2 buttons controlling one light, because clicking any button will just toggle the state rather than you needing to be in a very specific configuration. And just to show quickly how you set that up, We literally just grab the state here and get the source from it. Grab the bottom state also, get the source from it. I'm going to be removing the target here, so this is no longer doing anything. And also removing the multiple condition driver in general. Then we'll get the values here and get a drive for it, which will immediately turn off the light here. Then we hook up one button to the top, one button to the bottom, and hook it up to the light. So now if I click this button here, it turns off. If I turn it on again and then go to the other side and hit this button here, it'll turn off as well. If I go back in here and click it, it'll turn back on. And yeah, that's how you set up some simple and a little bit more complex light switches. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.